Right on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, man. So, all right, we live right now. I
Got
ain't got no intro or nothing yet. I'm working on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's uh, you know, a natural progression in making stuff prettier as you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But did you already
I'm live. I see. We're
hang
good.
on, get some feedback? Uh, Here we go. I had to mute the YouTube version of it, and we make sure the Facebook come up. See, this is where it starts getting technical. You know?
Man, you press live. Everything goes live.
Yeah, like
Everything is live.
all the problems,
Yes,
everything,
sir. All the gremlins walk out.
all the technical stuff. You know what I'm saying? That people don't see.
This is how you become proficient.
For real, you gotta
The way
make
you look at it, right? It's the way you
mhm,
look at it.
no other type of way to look at it, man. Like this is building an airplane in flight, and you know it's on fire too at the same time.
Yeah, facts. And everyone's running around.
Mm-hmm. Man, look, I'm tagging some people now. But good morning to you, sir,
Good morning. Good morning. Good
and
morning.
welcome to being a guest on Code Talk. Um, you know, and it's been overdue. You should have been on here a long time ago.
Facts. Yeah,
But but
definitely.
but but no time like the present, you know.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying, you hear with the Coffee and Blunts morning show, you know. And what better way to start your day?
No better way to start the day.
Like you really just can't come up with anything else. Well, it's probably a couple other things that would be, you know what I'm saying, considered to be explicit, maybe not safe for public consumption right away, but you know, uh, but man, coffee and blunts is a good way to get your head focused,
Get you a
figure out
routine.
figure out what you're gonna do the rest of your life, maybe the rest of the day or the next hour, whatever, you know.
Make it through. Just make it through the day. There's
Yeah,
another day tomorrow. Just make it through the day.
man. Look, we took off a couple weeks because I was out of the country, you know what I'm saying, on vacation and making some uh some journeys to go see some people I've been meaning to see, and you was on the list. So
I
so
appreciate the pass through, man.
yeah, man, you know, like it's good catching up with people that you got solid, you know what I'm saying, friendships and stuff with. So
Doors always welcoming. You know what I mean? Our doors always open.
yeah, man, again, it's my man Roland, you know what I'm saying, aka Bread with Stuntin Like My Potnas. And you know, we missing Chris, he on his way in soon too. But like all of us are entrepreneurs in our own way. Um, we believe in, you know, helping people that pouring in, you know what I'm saying, in each other's cups. And, you know, I try to use my platform to create a communion of understanding
Hmm.
so we can help share information and help us solve all of our problems. You know what I'm saying? As much as the problems that we can control, you know.
But that's what we learned, right? In the
Yeah.
service, you
Yeah,
help
you
your buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, you gotta learn what you ain't responsible for.
shoot and move, bro. Like, suppress, do it yourself, help your man out. You know what I mean? Don't just let him sit out there. Just go
Yeah.
get him. You know what I mean?
Man,
This is our
what
way
should
of go getting them.
so talk to the people, you know what I'm saying, about what they should know about you, sir.
So first of all, I'm Adam, unapologetically Puerto Rican to the core. Watch out with the show coming up here soon. Thanks to Vic once again, spreading the information and spreading the love, man. Like for real, got me on my Airbnb journey. What in 2018? Been on that for a little bit. With you helping me out along the way, helping me get my stuff together. You know what I mean? And now that I'm retired, twice over federally, I'm just trying to learn how to take life easy and accept what's coming. You know what I mean? And now's my chance to give back. I've been giving back to veterans for 11 years at the VA where I worked at. So I got a lot of information. I got a lot of stuff in this big head of mine that a lot of veterans could use. I used. And so let's move forward, man. Let's help these vets out. That's all I'm about. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Man,
I got my degree in photography, so anything you see on a billboard, I could do probably better. I know right now it don't seem like it, but like I said, Vic has convinced me to set up my own podcast, and so be on the lookout for that soon.
man, look, um, I don't know which direction you're going, but I know it's gonna be real creative. I can hear the wheels turning. You know what I'm saying? And of course, when you put the visuals with the other conversation that we had, uh, I'm real interested to see what you do to bring all your talents to like one spot. I'm glad I know you. I'd rather have you. You know what I'm saying? Inside the circle than out.
You know,
And
20 years, man. You know what I mean? That's a long time to know someone. You know, we
yeah,
know each
like
other 20 years.
you're finally getting to the point in life where you got people that you made friendships with that have known you longer than people that you've grown up with. So
Facts. Like I told my wife that shit.
yeah,
I've had everyone's got their spousal issues, and I've had mine over the years. And I told my wife, listen, I know you better than your mother knows you. I've
ain't,
been married to you for 20 years. You left your house when you was 18.
ain't nothing to
Of
talk
course,
about.
I know you better more. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to tell you. I know you, so that's what it is. You know what I mean? And I'm a direct you in the best way I can. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
you have to accept my assessment of your behavior. You
yeah,
have
because
to.
I have a history.
I
We
have a
have history.
history. I got a paper trail.
Yeah, yes, sir. I got the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Facts are facts.
And that's what I think overall men in their 40s have have an actual assessment of everybody that they've been connected to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, look, if I tell you you're doing something, that's what you're doing.
Mhm.
Now, what you intend to do and what your intention was, that's something else. But I'm telling you what you're doing.
But
Eh,
that's the whole point about being accountable, right? Like
Yeah,
the accountable masculinity is about taking charge. You know what I mean? And it's hard sometimes. You get caught up in the weeds. You know what I mean? But you got to be accountable, man. And that means owning up to your failures and fixing those failures. You know what I mean? And it's not a failure. We were having that discussion on the rug. It's not even a failure, right? It's just a different path to find out that wasn't the way to go. Go
yeah,
back and do it over again. Find where your choke point was and go back.
man, you got to just keep refining your process, man. Like it's not that many. That's people say things like it's a bunch of ways to skin a cat, and when they saying that, we inherently understand what it means. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't stop. You got a plan B. You got a plan C, or however many plans is necessary. But after you get through, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different plans, you got to start dwindling down which routes you want to go. You know
You
what I'm
gotta
saying?
set yourself, man.
So like at some point you start having, like barriers where you're like, I don't want to do a plan B. It's got to work this way or no way. Because some things are not about trying. Some things are just about simply accomplishing it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Getting the trash can on the curb is vital on trash day. That's like one of the worst L's you could take as an adult. You got somebody
Yeah.
that picks the trash up
Mm-hmm.
and takes it to a landfill and takes that whole struggle off your hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then all you got to do is get the can to the curb.
But if they're not accountable and
But
they
if
don't,
you're not,
they continuously don't do that, what
yeah,
happens? Then you get rodents, you get bugs, then you're saying infestations, then now you cause a whole bunch of issues. Take care of
well,
the one problem and you be all right.
yeah, you from New York. Like
Brooklyn.
if the sanitation service decides to not work that day, New York is over with.
Oh, dude, it's happened too. It's happened before.
The rats take
Mounds of
over New York.
trash. That's why our rats look like cats, bro.
Yeah,
I know some of them rats be beating up on dogs, bro. Like
the rats take over the city if the
facts,
sanitation workers take off shift.
facts, facts. We'd be riding rats to work, bro, back and forth.
But
That's just crazy.
yeah, man. So man, what you guys what's a problem you guys trying to get rid of right now? What's like the biggest problem you working on? Because today's show is about one less problem.
Yeah.
Man, I'm working on discipline.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm working on my fucking discipline, G.
facts. Me too. Welcome to the struggle, brother. That discipline is no joke.
And it's not hard per se, but you can never have enough of it.
No, I'm not saying it's hard. I'm just saying I'm working on it. Meaning, I'm taking like we was talking off camera about some things. Just gotta like you gotta put the work in consciously every day. It gotta be an effort. It got to be top of the list. It got to be priority. And my discipline is, working out.
Yeah.
So what working out done for me, I found that it's maybe like more than 80%. I think it's like 90%. It's just discipline. And if you can just mentally wake up and take care of 1 hour, if you're lucky, you got 2 hours, to dedicate 2 hours or 24 hours of your day to yourself. Man. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So accountable masculinity, like you don't want to have a gut. You don't want to have a man bod. You don't want to have all these things, but you're the only one that can really change it. Mm-hmm. So when you look in your mirror, what you put in your what you put in your mouth is going to show on your body.
You still carry it.
You know what I'm saying? You carry. You see, you're a reflection of your bad habits and your choices. So we got to do better as men, and so we can lead a better. We got to become better people, so we can become a better father, a better lover, better husband, better soulmate, better brother, better son. It's a lot of hats. So if you can work on yourself, and that's what I've been doing, just minding my damn business, working on myself, getting better every day, just 1% better every day. And it's not really hard. It's just you got to put it at the top of the list.
Well, you got to
prioritize yourself.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. I think I know I fall into that same issue, and I fell into that whole high school quarterback. Back in my day, I was running 2 miles, under 17 minutes. I was doing 60 push-ups. So I ran into a lot of that, and when I realized, what was it, like 2012, I almost blew up to 300 pounds, man. I'm only 5'6". 300 pounds. I was just as wide as I was tall. You know what I mean? I was just a walking ball. And it took me a scare, not being able to go make money. And that's always been my priority, right? Like having 4 kids, having a family and everything else. Money has always been on the top of my list to provide. And I've always been good financially as far as like making the hustle, making sure I get everything paid. But I put my health to the side, man. And so I flew overseas as a contractor for a minute. And the doctor told me, if you don't lose any weight, you may not make that plane ride, bro. You could die on that plane. We can't send you. You're too big. And I was like, damn, like I completely forgot how it was to be disciplined and be fit. So now I make it a morning routine. Just like I make my bed first thing in the morning, I make my morning routine. I do my little calisthenics. I get on the treadmill, 3 days a week. And I don't go long. I don't go 2-3 miles. You know what I mean? I just do a mile here, 2 miles there. But the same thing. You have to discipline. Even if it's just getting up and getting on a treadmill for 15 minutes, man, have the discipline to do it. Think of yourself.
Look, that is so key. Like when you hear people that's in the entrepreneur space talk about, running their business and whatever that looks like, what time they open their doors or what time they close them. Like your routine for you individually is very important for the rest of everything else to work. And you don't want to be like these old crusty, veterans that talk about you acting like you're better than other people when you realize that you were trained. Mm-hmm. So discipline, structure, and all that stuff is kind of like woven into the fabric of who you are as a person. A lot of people ain't raised by folks that were disciplined. They just not. So, like,
do I duck? Do I raise my hand?
Yeah, like we just not. And the thing is that's the part that keeps us on or off balance. Like, yeah, you could have a moment where, like you might say for the next month or so, I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. But in the back of your mind, you already know, like, I need to take my ass into this gym. I need to go. Yeah. I need to go at least walk. I need to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something that's always in the back of your mind. Like, hey,
you can do this. Hey, you can do that.
You need to do this. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have problems if you don't do this.
You gotta take care of this problem because this problem could take care of 15 problems that are right behind it if you don't take care of it.
It's like a level of healthy paranoia. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I was saying, if you're not disciplined enough to do the workout, don't be mad when you get diabetes. Don't be mad when you get a stroke. Don't be mad when you're on a ventilator. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you could be mad all you want to, but
You solve that one problem.
be mad at you.
You solve that one problem, having a little bit of discipline for yourself and your health, and you can, in the long run, because most people, that's the problem. Most people they can't see what's in front of their face. They can't see anything farther than their nose. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the vision of doing it. And that's what I was talking about off camera, right? The school.
Yeah.
The schools teach you to be a cog in the machine. They keep stamping out the same damn cog.
Yeah.
We don't need any more cogs. We need people with imagination, thinking, like moving forward.
People that are creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in the creative space. That's why I'm in the arts, man. Like getting a degree in photography, you have to think of the angles, man. You got to think of everything. You got to think of lighting. You got to think of composition, the story you telling, what color means what in what region. Like you got to think of everything. You know what I mean? You got to be dedicated to it though. You know what I mean? I did 15 years of photography work. Now I'm set off. I took that problem, created income with it to support my family. And now that I'm retired, I'm using that same information and moving it forward and now helping my veterans out as much as I can.
Yeah.
Or help big.
Yeah, man, look, you got to use what you have and like whatever's your best skill, it needs to be part of your foundation. You know what I'm saying? Because the minute that you know, like before you had the property thing going, before you got into the short-term rental business, you already had the photography piece.
Yeah.
So you already had a major component to, you know, like marketing and advertising. That's the other thing that starts learning. There's a big difference in somebody that's just taking pictures,
all right,
versus using the skill to display what they actually trying to do. Man, I say this all the time, man. Like when it comes down to this podcast stuff, like we're not good at this. Right. We just know how to turn the camera on and catch up with each other.
Right, and speak some real shit. And just straight up speak some.
That's what the podcast is.
But that's what that's
if you look at anybody, they got more money, they got bigger budget.
Yep.
So the background might look different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
People want to talk about sports. They want to talk about them bird watching.
Yeah.
They want to talk about the book club. They want to talk about relationship advice. They just talking bullshit about whatever they feel like is
whatever's important to them.
Important,
You know what kills me? Like we're talking off camera. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know what the number one genre in podcasting is?
What is it?
It's crime.
Everybody's interested in crime.
Crime stories. You know what I mean? Like these are true crime stories. So you're not really inventing the wheel. You're just reading a report from a police report, doctoring it up, like fixing, editing, putting some nice music to it or whatever, making it spooky, and then just reading off this report, and then making millions off that joint.
Bro, with somebody else's work. They're just rereading crime stories in the news with an AI voice and some AI imagery and some captions.
Yeah, I'm glad you said AI because AI is literally
solving problems.
But what it can't do is at least for right now.
For now. Yeah.
Now,
program a record. We're gonna go ahead and get this documented now with our opinions on it.
AI can't take the creativity part.
No.
It cannot create the creativity part. It can be creative, but it cannot create the creativity part. You know what I mean? So you could tell it to do something, but someone had to think and create that.
It's only as smart as the user.
You know what AI is, bro? AI ain't shit but another fucking. Remember back in the day, the technology of a computer.
Yeah.
That's just because think about it. A computer is pretty much nothing without a human being. So what is AI? AI is nothing without a human being. You got to put that creative juice or that creativeness, that creative DNA into it to make it what it is. You see what I'm saying?
But that creativeness comes from the life that you live.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And it lives no life.
Yeah, it's like, so you got a computer on this hand, and you got to use it.
Right.
The computer's only smart as the user.
Correct. Your smartphone is smart, but it's, unless you're smart, you don't know how to use it.
You really don't know. We only working about 13% of it.
Hey, look, I'm glad that y'all went right to the smartphone because technological advances have always recreated new created communities, destroyed, previous connections or whatever else, right? Mm-hmm. It's no different than like sports. Like Dallas Cowboy fans gonna have a different conversation about football than the Jacksonville Jaguar fans. You know what I'm saying? It's all a community. You know what I'm saying? That's got different lines of demarcation, and the cell phone was one of the biggest ones. And for the longest period of time, the smartphone specifically, the smartphone basically has the world's information in your hand. If you looked at a person's phone, you can establish a pattern of life and behavior off of what they look at. Like social media reflects what interests you. So like that's why like you could be on social media and somebody would be complaining. You ever see like that one complaint in your timeline, and it's one person say, "I'm tired of all these twerk videos," and you're like
watching them then.
Like, it is like you got twerk videos in your timeline,
right?
Or somebody complains about there's a bunch of fight videos. You know, like it's people fighting everywhere. Like people that's not focused on fighting, they don't have that imagery in their timeline because they are communicating based on what interests them. You know,
but that's AI, right? That's AI reading the algorithm
and
of what you're watching
exactly,
and giving you what you want.
And that's my point. Is that you have to feed it.
Hold on.
What's up?
I want to be on record right now. I want to watch a twerk video on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Listen. My twerk videos is only on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right.
On Monday, the AI got me watching twerk videos. I ain't want to watch it this time. You see what I'm saying? The AI just oversaturates your shit. Overdo what you got in your phone. Now it's up to you. Now I can't. Now you mean AI, Mr. AI man?
Mr. AI.
Why I gotta continuously watch 100 videos? Only want to watch one. But you see what I'm saying? The algorithm they put more videos on there. Hey, this what you like? I'm gonna feed you more. I don't. So now I got to start watching twerk videos.
Yeah, exactly. Because
I got to give me a new phone.
And that is a level of control and manipulation because the people that stay on.
Oh yeah,
they
done seen 1,000.
It's like when they say everybody in the place raise their hand, and then when somebody says put your hand down if you live in this zip code.
Got you. I got you.
Now they know how to target you. That's why like those high interest credit card offers, they only go to certain zip codes. They don't go to places where millionaires live. You know what I'm saying? Or wealthy people.
There's a reason why Capital One and Credit One both have the same damn logo, but only Credit One gets sent to like the hood.
Yeah,
the interest rates be like 38%. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, like buy here, pay here, places.
But then that goes by. So what I found out a few years ago when I was clearing my credit to the whole Airbnb thing, that is by Nexus, Lexus, and the rest of those other three systems that group you by insurance rates and categories and pretty much redline you. So if you live in a certain district, they're going to sell the postal code numbers to these companies for super cheap because they know that that's the product. The people are the product.
Data. So like this is
information.
This is how fast the smartphone has the usage of the smartphone has created AI. You know what I'm saying? Has proved it. Like we went from spell check to predictive text.
Yeah. Face recognition.
People feed AI by using certain tools. That's why, like, you know, for the longest time, people swear they cell phone listening to them, and people somewhat been able to prove it. They believe that some people believe the cell phone is reading their mind, and you know what I'm saying. And some people have been able to prove it, but it's definitely listening to you and taking in information. Because name something that's smart that doesn't listen.
Right.
You can't be smart if you don't listen.
Be smart if you're not listening.
But look,
you can't be smart.
It's listening because it got speakers, it got a microphone.
You
know what I'm
You'd
saying?
be foolish to think that it's not absorbing what's around
up
it.
all your information. And
and like look at what Ring is trying to do now. Ring is getting with the police departments in order to voluntarily allow the police department to view your Ring camera, which means what? They're going to be watching everything.
And guess who bought Ring?
Damn, FBI.
No, Amazon.
Amazon bought Ring. And who made money off of Ring, though? Nas did. Nas made a bag off that.
Yeah. Big billionaire money. You know what I'm saying? And just tech. And they had to invest in nothing heavy. And like everything's wired up. See, we from the generation that didn't have no cameras. So
Thank
like,
God.
so, so what I'm saying, like,
As an
like,
atheist, thank God.
so our perspective on discipline is very unique. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that act like cameras don't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's
we usually call them Karens, but yeah, you're right.
yeah, like when we sit back, because like the people that was raised without cell phones and without doorbell cameras and cameras everywhere, we remember when camera technology was expensive. We remember where, like, you know, it was only like at stores, and then even in stores, it was like, yeah, there's one camera like right there.
You remember when your video camera had to sit on your shoulder?
Yeah.
It had like
Yeah.
a little hump, so you could a little arch, so you could put it on there, so it could fit comfortably.
And
like
now you just
come
like
a
this
long
right
way,
here,
bro. We come a long way.
and now you're getting this in 4K. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Oh, like it was you. We know it was you.
High def.
Like if it shouldn't make you scared, it should make you cautious. But at the same time, there's a group of people that function in the world that don't give a damn about caution, that don't give a damn. So
there's people who don't,
and they'll record themselves doing, you know what I'm saying, the most heinous acts, the craziest stuff. And it's like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
because the phone is smart, not the person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like you have taught the machine how to catch your stupid ass. Yeah. Like and everybody is dealing with the aftermath of something where they overstep their boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Or has dealt with it, or has observed enough to be like, I'm gonna wait for that to blow over. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's like that whole DJ Envy joint. We were talking about that the other day. Like listen, that whole DJ Envy real estate policy, like
talk on that.
I went to that show. I went to one of the shows in Atlanta in 2019, November. Me and my wife went. It was a great show. There was a lot of pushing on, joining the group. You know how it is. Yeah. The seminars about joining the group, like discount rate. Right. But he did have a lot of good stuff there. There were some good realtors there. There were some good investors. So it was good to go to the show. But now, fast forward 3-4 years later, after I used a realtor from that show to buy my duplex, I know that they're legit. Like I made sure to make sure the realtor was an actual realtor. You know what I mean? But I used that show for what it was worth. I didn't invest in it because I didn't see the value in investing in it at that point, and I didn't have it to do. And I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have done it. And now look at it. That shit's a scam, bro. Like,
but check this out. Most of these things are, man, I'm gonna say about 90% of these things again are scams.
Yeah, but listen, we all try to do what we can to make a shortcut here or there, right?
No. I ain't talking about the shortcut. I'm just saying, look at the idea. Who do you know that is going to make, like, a rich person that care enough to make other broke people rich? All right, so if you can't we live in a society, in a world where if Vic got a clothing brand, I'd rather spend $300 on Nike than on Vic clothing brand. Yeah. Nike been accused of having sweatshops and all this other shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then marking up and so on and so forth. But Nike been out for 50 years or 100 years or whatever the case may be, right? So now people are going to gravitate toward Nike instead of somebody that they know. I don't know why it's like that. However,
that's marketing, baby. That's marketing.
Yeah.
Everything's marketing.
I say all that to say this: like, no one is going to if we're making the rich richer.
Of course,
that's all we're gonna do. We're gonna spend 40 hours on the job. We're gonna have $1,200 that I get paid, and $600 gonna go to some shoes or some clothes or some bullshit. But we're making them rich, and we still gonna be complaining about our lifestyle. We don't even have the capacity in the mind to even like, wait a minute, something ain't right here.
Right.
They just say, hey, I'm broke. I don't know why I'm broke. Because you got 1,000 pairs of fucking shoes. That's why you broke.
How you think this was gonna end?
Yeah.
Exactly.
like Like we have to.
You're just working for Nike.
You're just working for Nike. You know what I'm saying? Like there's such a stark understanding between the entrepreneur mindset and the consumer mindset. Mm-hmm. Like the entrepreneur mindset doesn't mean that you got more money than everybody else. It just means that you have an understanding of how people fit into commerce. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's having that conversation. They just saying, man, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and they leaving at that. But what does that mean? Do you understand the mindset? Like what is the mindset that goes behind your brand of entrepreneurship?
So my mindset is easy. I support you, bro. Like, let's be real. I spent $99 on that DJ Envy show to go see and then get a realtor and spend a few more hundred to buy a house. That's cool. But how many books did I buy of yours, Vic? How many hoodies did I get? You know what I'm saying? Like, I support mine. And I believe it because shit, the $99 I spent over there at DJ Envy's wasn't shit versus all the information I got from you, Vic. So in essence, I'm glad I bought those books. I'm glad I bought those hoodies because I need to support you. You gave me more information on how to run the Airbnb and then now how to do this podcast thing and move forward. Gotta invest, bro. Gotta show love and come out here and be like, yo, I gotta support the channel, and push it where I can. But like you said, my mindset for my business is simple. I'm unapologetically Puerto Rican, and I need to show what's going on in Puerto Rico and how we're being treated as like these third class, fourth class citizens in a first country world. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how we don't even have representation of our people on our island, which is why we got dumbass presidents like 45 throwing damn towel paper at us because they don't give a shit about
I like
it.
how you shot that again because he just touched it up real quick. Hit you with a broke jump. It was like Ben Simmons.
Shit. Ben Simmons been balling.
He been catching up. He been improving.
Listen, I think it was always there, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, you got to work on these things.
But that's what my channel's about, bringing to light. You didn't know, Vic, when I told you about Puerto Rico and how we're the first. I want you to think about this before it happened at Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. Before any of that shit happened, Puerto Rico was already taken over, and we were bombed by the U.S. government. Bombed by the U.S. government on purpose. It wasn't even an accident. They did that shit. There's still to this day a declaration from America saying that we are aliens of a different species and should be eradicated. And that's the way they treat us. That's why we get no representation. We got nobody, bro. Nobody. We can't even vote for the president. God damn it.
Yeah. Y'all.
But it's a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
It's not even a territory, bro. It's a colony. They have colonized us, bro, and we're still being colonized to this point. We could serve in the military. We could do everything any American can do as long as we're on American ground or in Puerto Rico on the island. You could volunteer to join the armed forces. After that, I want you to think about this, bro. As a Puerto Rican and as a veteran, if I'm collecting Social Security, which I'm not, but if I'm collecting Social Security here in the States, in Georgia, where I currently live, if I decide to take my family back to Puerto Rico, I lose my Social Security benefits. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So how are you going to tell me I'm a citizen, but then take and strip from me what I earned? That I've shown, you know what I mean? Like, it don't make no sense. Same thing with food stamps. There's a lot of shit. They say that Puerto Ricans don't pay taxes. Bitch, we paid so much taxes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, because they get it on the front end with y'all.
Like, that's the same thing with blacks, and they talk about the reparations. Like, come on, man, you just don't dangle this shit and act like nobody heard. And then if you really do the reparation, like if people that we supposed to help build this country, well, we did. So now all of a sudden, if you do give the reparations back, where the money coming from? And then is it going to bankrupt the U.S.? And then, you know what I'm saying? It's just a whole lot of like a trickle effect.
Yep.
It's bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit.
But if they did the triggers though, they did right. How come they didn't give y'all reparations like they did the Indians? Gave y'all land. Yeah. Let y'all have your own shit, right? Or give you reparations like they did the Jewish people. They just filled their bank accounts.
And there's two different type of Jewish people too.
Yeah. it's a couple of them.
You know what I
mean? Yeah. Like, and that's really like the eye-opening conversation right there. If everybody's getting done dirty, what does that tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a recipe
But what's the common
How do
denominator,
people
though?
learn?
What's the common denominator in all that? The
Hey,
U.S. government, bro.
that while that is true, that's the boundary. Like that exists, regardless of
Right.
how
It's gonna be there. That's what
it's going to be
made
there, right? So a lot of people get this is where the conversation stops for most people. Now is raising a fist and then running outside with a sign.
That's it. The protest.
No protest.
That's it.
There's no follow through.
That's it.
It's just all emotions.
Well, you can't, because if you do follow through, you're gonna get killed. So how many more motherfuckers want to go? Hey, they killing over there. Hey, I want to go investigate that. Nah, somebody gonna leave that shit alone. I'm gonna do what I can for my family and what I can do in this little community that I got. And hopefully, that was enough, because I'm not finna go die for some shit that you almost be like Nat Turner or Harriet Tubman. You go back and try to free some more slaves, and these motherfuckers don't even know they slaves.
I tell you right now, bro, we don't need any more martyrs. We already see, you know what I'm saying, what it's about. We already see how it turns out. You know what I'm saying? Like even with what you saying, like, hey, we already know what the end result is. You know what I'm saying? So like,
either way, because you got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. One is I'm gonna live by the gun, die by the gun. The other one is real peaceful. Both of them get killed. Both of them still trying to do the same fucking thing.
Well, and let me hit you with something deeper than that.
Shit.
Think about this country already off 2 of its own presidents before we even got to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, if you're off your own president and then cover it up and then put it in the Library of Congress and say, yeah, you know who did it, but we ain't gonna tell you to 2029. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
it happened in 63, 64.
Right.
Come on, man. Like, what else do you?
But someone's got to do it, bro. Like, let's be real.
Somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
Look, we don't have enough guns. We don't have enough weapons. We don't have enough nothing.
Let me hit you with this though. What if it's already been done?
It has been.
That's my point. Like,
we never
look at it. We never look at it like, yo, the groundwork has already been laid.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a problem-solving conversation. We have vent sessions about information that we just decided to have a conversation about. It's been in practice, proof of concept for centuries.
But I think now time has changed, though.
But now the time has changed. Like, now we can do something.
Yeah, we can voice ourselves right here on the same platform and have millions of people see it.
Yeah, we can offset. We don't have to go in attack mode.
Right.
We don't have to do anything but recognize what the boundary is and then help people that want to help people.
But the boundary, the biggest boundary that we have is education, correct education, and teaching people. And that's what we're here for, right? It's to teach these veterans and to teach other people about what it is that we're trying to do and move them forward. So if we continue to educate and we continue to be on that point and be the spear, leading that charge, we by fault become the martyr because we are talking of value and knowledge of the things that we have. So, that's what makes us stand out. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point of being unapologetically Puerto Rican. That's the whole reason why I trademarked that, because I don't give a fuck what anybody got to say. When it comes to my island, it comes to my people, my culture, you're not going to appropriate it because I see what they do. Like, look at the culture that I'm from New York, born, bred, and raised on hip hop, like Brooklyn born. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me that these motherfuckers ain't manipulating the system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they manipulate the system. That's why we have now, like, hip-hop on one direction, and then we got, like, hardcore, like...
It's split in so many different... That's the marketing piece, which goes back to, like, it being a psychological operation.
But the money
been going on before hip hop.
And that's
like, damn, hip hop only 50 years. This shit been going on.
Millennia.
And the education is one thing, but what if you tell somebody the truth and they think it's a lie? So now what you educating? Because they already know it's the damn truth, but in they fucked up mind and they world, that it doesn't make sense. It's not adding up.
There's always been a form of manipulation and distorting reality is what the point is. It's like I was thinking this last night, even down to cartoons. Like, you got to think about how things have been communicated throughout time. Like, people talk about Disney. Let me give you something extremely primitive that doesn't make any sense, that won't fly today.
Ooh, let's talk about it.
Popeye. Bluto, Olive Oyl, and Popeye.
Yes.
And think about how simple the audience had to be to sit down and watch Popeye in the entertainment. Like we talking about the sailor that was fighting a dude
over his girl. Allegedly
his girl. And then Olive Oil get tired of Popeye being nice or whatever Popeye been doing. Before pre-spinach Popeye never satisfies Olive Oil.
Nah.
Pre-spinach Popeye always get in a jam because Olive Oil got bored with him and decided to go kick it with Big Bluto.
But what does that tell the kids? You gotta get that spinach. You gotta get that spinach, baby.
That's one side of it.
That spinach to solve that problem.
But to the girls that's watching it, they don't eat spinach.
Yeah, you can never have enough spinach.
Yeah. What
Damn, what Bill Gates had to go through?
Yeah, like what is Olive Oil communicating to the girls and the boys though?
Yeah.
What is her behavior?
Path of least resistance. Go to the guy who's
disciplined spinach.
Hey, like Olive Oil was sexually undisciplined. You see what I'm saying? And because Bluto and Popeye both chasing Olive Oil, they stay fighting. That whole relationship is sexually undisciplined.
What if they would goddamn became friends and just say fuck her?
Or they could do what's new in 2023 and be a throuple, right? Like they could have been a throuple and be accepted today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. It could have easily. Hey, it was negative poly. You know what I'm saying? It was bad poly. That's what.
But I tend not to look at things from the female perspective in the sense of the way they act, but I look at it from the male perspective. Obviously, you know, I'm a single. Think about this. I'm a single kid by myself, no father around. Mom's doing her thing.
Yep.
I'm watching cartoons for a living at this point, and I'm watching how this weak man's got to make or get this spinach in order to help this girl who's so weak, but I supposedly like her. You know what I mean? Like he
that's
likes her.
The one side of it as you're looking at it as a kid.
Yeah. I mean,
now that you're older.
Yeah, now that I'm older, I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this? I'm like, that bitch leave me for fuck.
Yeah, she left me because
she left. She left because I gave her a sandwich and he got her a steak. Bye, bitch.
One less problem. One less problem. You want to go over there?
Bro.
Go ahead. You know
gotta learn how to cut them ties that bond.
Because I'm not finna fight for you. I'm not finna fight him because you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like be disciplined enough to deal with. You know what I'm saying? The ebbs and flow of a relationship. You want to go chase. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else that chase pussy. You know what I'm saying? Because you chase eggplants.
Yeah, don't Olive Oil got a sister, a cousin, friends? Like, come on, I don't have to keep on chasing you. All my life I get beat up by this motherfucker.
She was the only woman. She was the only woman on the show. There was Wimpy. There was a dog. There was Pluto, Bluto, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Popeye, and she was the only chick.
Bruh, Popeye was the best depiction of simps and barrack soldiers.
Oh yes, yeah, that barrack soldier's life, sailor's life. That's why he was a sailor. You know, the veterans shit.
Popeye was reality TV. It was the same behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at what's going on Popeye. How is that any different than Real Housewives of any other show? You name it.
Or the Maury show.
Or the Maury show. How is it any different? It was Jerry Springer.
All day.
I want to tell you a secret. And then bring you on Jerry Springer to tell it.
Yeah, you got to embarrass me in front of the whole world. Like you could have sent me a text message. You could write me a 4-page letter.
Did you hear what happened?
Hey, didn't Olive Oil have a baby too?
Yeah.
What was the baby?
And the baby.
No one knew. Nobody knew who the father was.
Sweet Pea. You see what I'm saying? It's like mother.
It wasn't Popeye or
it wasn't Popeye
or Bruno.
She was a single mother.
Yeah. I think she was like an aunt. I don't know if it was a mom. I think she was like an aunt or cousin.
She been lying the whole time. She lied to Popeye, lied to Bluto. That means that baby probably hers, and she lying about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I'm concerned, she was a single mother, and that whole situation that Olive Oil was in was unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. Very unnecessary.
But you know, people get blinded, bro. People get blinded by. I'm fortunate, in a sense of speaking, when it comes to religion. People get blinded by that stuff, man. People get People push that shit, and I got a family member right now who's like, oh, God this, God that, but eats pork on Friday. Like, whereas, and you know what I'm saying? Cursing out other family members that may be gay, like saying all kind of blasphemous shit. And they're stuffing a pork chop down their throat while they're saying it. Shut up, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
But look,
we believe in bullshit.
That goes back to the discipline part.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It goes all the way back to discipline.
That's why, I feel bad because when Jehovah's Witnesses or any of those people come to my door and they're like, would you like to talk about Jesus? I'm like, look, I don't listen to your mythical book. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, your storytellers don't impress me. They get mad. They get pressed.
It don't hit the same when you got knowledge of,
they get pressed,
like how it applies in your life. You know what I'm saying? If they just coming to tell you about it, that's one thing. But But if your mindset ain't right, you can't absorb and apply no new information.
I gotta pull the Ring camera system, the video on that, because that just happened this week, and the look on their face, bro, it was like
blur it out. Hey,
but they're like, I hit them with a reset. They didn't know what to do.
You got to blur them out. Let me go to the comments real quick. My man Ruben Heights. Hey, what's up, Rube? He said power is in the form of unification, education, and then action. Now, like I like the fact that all three of those words are mentioned because it's based off of what we've already been discussing. Mm-hmm. But I want to highlight and make sure that education is not limited to institutional education. The world is mostly informal. We need more informal education, application. And this is one of the things like what's interesting that he bring up these three things is that this is part of like my long range vision. I would love to have the opportunity to start an informal education institution because it's like people say it ain't what you know, it's who you know. I think that's what an informal education matrix is. You bring those who know to those that are asking. People that have their hands raised are more likely to absorb information and apply it and then move it to action. So the use of those words right there in the scope of this conversation is what we need. You know what I'm saying?
What's that? The difference between book smart and street smart?
It is. And then now we got to have a blend instead of a difference.
Yeah, right. Because now I'm filled up with this education that really I can't apply this shit nowhere. I just got my mind wrapped up in something, how to pass a test. And I got this degree, but I can't get the job that I really like. Or I got some Snapple top information, like how many fucking hairs is on the damn spider back. I don't give a fuck about it. How am I going to use that in the real world? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so it's just a whole lot of fluff that gets you sidetracked, man.
Tell them why you mad, son. You know what I'm saying? like straight up. It's like you see people complain, and they will say something like, "I don't use algebra to get across the street." Reality is life is math because every day you're solving problems, and that's what algebra is.
That's
solving
what math
for X.
Is.
That's what math is, right? Like I don't need algebra across the street. Well, actually, you do. If a bus is coming at a certain speed, you're going to adjust your speed to get across the street safely. That may require you to run. If you take off running too fast, you might run into the bus.
Or you may just change your trajectory.
Oh, you might change your trajectory.
Or you don't need none of that shit. How about you stop until the coast is clear?
How about, but
just common fucking sense. How about
common sense?
Just let me go across the street.
But it's common sense, but most people around here walking around blindfolded.
But this is why you gotta mesh the two. Common sense is actually math.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like common sense is like, I know what needs to happen, but the timing isn't right in most cases. Mm-hmm. And timing is numbers, is calculation. Everything your mind is constantly doing math to solve for X, solve for Y. You know what I'm saying? So life in a minimum is algebra. It requires you to backward think. You know what I'm saying? But people are only limiting what they understand, the context of it, to test taking. Like you were talking about.
We all live our life to the formula in which we create.
Recipes, man.
That's it.
You're the main ingredient.
All right, but okay, so some people have to have one fucking tablespoon of sugar. Somebody can goddamn eye level that motherfucker, and that shit is called love. I made this dish out of love.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much fucking sugar I use. I know how much I need, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply it and make it happen. You see what I'm saying?
And a lot of people lack creativity.
Right.
So when they don't have the right sugar, they don't know that they can use agave, honey,
like a substitute,
something
else.
They lack creativity, which goes back to the lack of creativity. You have to be able to make up for stuff. Creativity is the bonding, information.
Creativity is essential to life.
It takes what you know how to do and turns it into what you want to do and how long you want to do it. And if it becomes a passion, if it becomes a purpose, is it short term? You see what I'm saying? Creativity determines, how long you do things.
Creativity is what sparked everything. Creative about being fire, creative about being, you know what I mean? Like making things move faster by creating wheels. Like it's just creativity. You have to look at everything that goes on in your life. At least I do. I look at everything in my life and go, okay, how can I be creative with this? How can I turn this into that and what I need? You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to wait. It's a game, a wait game. Sometimes it's a invest and see if it pans out kind of game. Sometimes it's immediate. And I think that's the problem with today. Everyone is so addicted to the endorphins that you get from social media that they need that high all the time, which is why they go on social media. And instead of actually doing something and teaching someone and being creative and learning how to pass that on to other people, they're consuming, but they're not creating.
Consumer mindset versus entrepreneurial mindset.
And it's mathematical because if you consume too much and don't create enough, you cannot afford to consume.
Right, but they're not looking at that. They're looking at
the short term
gratification.
I see what you're saying, but all right. So there's young kids out there that's watching YouTube on a kid that's playing.
Correct.
Why you can't just go play, Billy? Why you got to how the hell do you watch this shit all day?
Can't go play,
why you have to? What makes him or her like? How you got the attention for all day? You just watching this other person unbox gifts and shit. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of messes with your psyche a little bit because now I'm depressed because I want all these toys. You see what I'm saying? So the consumer is only going to be consumed with like the time almost is more important than anything because now I'm wasted time consuming this shit that I could be out here doing this other thing that can give me real fulfillment. You see what I'm saying? It's almost fake fulfillment.
A lot of people with a consumer mindset are undisciplined.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to say?
No action.
It's fair. And think about what you're saying. If they're taking too much time to consume something, then they need to make up that time. And how they make up that time, instead of actually being productive and creative, what they do is they make up that time by using an Uber instead. Because that's what Uber is giving you time to go back and forth. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about anything. Just pull up an Uber. It'll pick you up, take you to your next destination, and move. That's how they save time. Instead of being creative and saying, I'll just take a bike. You know what I mean?
Like, or I can just run or jog or walk.
Right.
Or,
Be earlier. Like, just
earlier. Yeah. Like if you know you bad with time.
If you are a poor habit person and continue to consume but don't create, that's your problem. That's definitely the problem. You got to create something. I don't care if it's creating your time, your discipline. You got to create something for yourself and for your family. And if you don't have the discipline to do it, that is where an issue is where we need to educate and say, listen, you have the discipline, especially if you're a veteran. You got the discipline. You're just being lazy and hard on yourself. And a lot of us, listen, I suffer from depression and anxiety, bro. I'm on medication. I go to my therapy. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I get in my dumps, bro. As good as my life is, bro, my life is great. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no clock. I ain't on nobody's time. I'm on mine. You know what I'm saying? I got my own freedoms. I come and go as I want. I please. I've learned how to use the tax code in my favor. You know what I mean? And learn how to appreciate. That's something that I had to do because at the time, my kids are all growing. I'm losing dependence. So I know that I need these shelters for tax loopholes. So I'm gonna buy these houses. I'm gonna buy these businesses. I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna create my income so I don't have to go out there and be the creator, someone else's creation to do. Because someone else created my job position for me to sit in. So I'm gonna create my own job now. I'm gonna create my own thing. Fuck that. Be creative, bro.
So let me ask you this. You said I hear you say that you sometimes you be in your dumps. Like how can you not be in those dumps anymore? Like what can change that? What can help you with that?
I'll tell you this from what I've learned. I've been in therapy for 14 years, man. You know what I mean? And so I learned to pick up a thing or two. I learned how to listen to people. And it's hard to say that every individual is different. But I would say for me, my biggest aggravation is my family, and my biggest love is my family. You feel me? So I look at the aggravation that I get from my family, and I look at it and I go, damn, how can I be a better person? How can I be better for my family? How can I, and when I'm in the bad dumps, when I'm talking about, like, I'm just sitting on the couch, bro, Vic, how many times have you asked me, Adam, could give me a call? Let's talk about this. And I'm like, all right, but I'm in my moods, bro. Like when you visited, I was still in my mood, and we rolled up, we chilled, we smoked, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I was in my bag. I was in my feelings, bro. And it took a while. It takes like a few days for me to shake it sometimes, even on my medication and with my therapies. It's just how I feel, man. And going through all the shit that I've been through, and Vic will tell you in the last 5 years, everything I've been through would be enough to shake 100 grown men. Yeah. And I'm at the point right now where I'm like, yo, I shook it off, and I'm proud of myself for shaking off a lot of stuff. But at the same time, why am I still in the dump? Like, I don't feel like I'm myself. I don't feel like I'm as, I ain't gonna lie. I make good 6 figures by myself. I'm low 6, but at the same time, I'm living a life. My house is paid. Like, my car is paid. I don't work. Why am I in the dump? Why?
Because you don't create.
Because I'm not creating.
And that's why I had to come down there.
God damn it. Every time I'm getting into that, like, dumpy type of situation on a big scale for me, is like, it'll last, like, my depression will last like 4 or 5 months, bro. Like, every day solid. I don't want to eat nothing. I'll be losing weight.
You don't call nobody?
I don't call nobody. I'll be off social. Like, I binge watch shit. I just want to be in my own shelter, like my own little crab shell. And Vic comes through every time, and it's like, yo, spark your mind with this. And that's what it takes. That's the education, right? That's the unsolicited love from to me as a vet, as a battle buddy, as a friend out in the field. You know what I'm saying? To say, hey, man, how about you spark your interest with this? This is how I did this. Maybe that might work. And that's what happens. Sometimes it sparks. Vic came, and it wasn't but 48 hours later that I had another veteran that I know contact me and say, hey, Adam, listen, we did this podcast before with you and I want you to help me set up the lighting. I want you to help me set this up. That's the universe. I got 2 people who don't know each other from him come through and say, hey, Adam, you're good at this. Now, can you help? Bet. Now my spark is lit up again. Now I'm ripping carpets out of the damn floor. I'm painting floors. I'm throwing kids out of their fucking rooms to make a studio. Like, fuck that. I'm going to do. I'm going to be creative. Fuck that, man. I had that shirt on yesterday. I had my FDK shirt on yesterday, bro.
Hey, like, and the thing is, it's like everything that you're doing for you is out of love. You know what I'm saying? For yourself, because you had to give. This is why I say, man, like, I made a post the other day. It's like, it's not take and give, it's give and take. Mm-hmm. Because you're supposed to give first so you can appreciate receiving. Mm-hmm. Like, taking is useful still. You know what I'm saying? But like, the phrase give and take means that you cannot take and benefit. You have to give first in order for the system to work, for the exchange of energy to work.
Let me tell you something. The best thing you could ever do is give. And let me explain that. Remember, I told you before that in 2008, 2009, I got caught up with a DUI, reckless driving kind of charge, and wind up losing my job. Got fired. I was working for the cable company for 10 years. I get caught on my own time, off hours, in my own vehicle, and get a ticket, and these motherfuckers fire me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what? I used my volunteering time. I had nothing but time. I went to the VA to volunteer. From that volunteership, I wound up getting a job. from that job gave me the career that I was looking for, and it helped guide me. So if it wasn't for the fact that I gave first by giving to the veterans and just giving my time and helping out the VA, I would have never got to the position that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So it's always a give first, bro. You always give first, and then don't even expect to receive, because the universe is going to give you what you're supposed to have.
Yep.
Right, and it ain't ain't really a take. It's just you gotta give.
You're supposed to contribute.
Plant the seed, and then you gotta wait, and you gotta be patient.
And you gotta wait
really
take to give you its fruit.
Yeah.
Yep. Look,
it's give. It's not give take. You give, and it will give you back.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Like
you don't have to take anything
because somebody else is giving.
Yes.
So that means there's no take, because you can never take from me. You can't take something
I just got
that I gave you.
Yeah.
I just gave you a conversation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you a couple of words, and like, it doesn't matter how much of me that you're around, you will never know the vision that I already have. So I got enough on my table where I can knock some crumbs off. You know what I'm saying? I can pour into somebody else's cup from this angle, not financially all the time, of course, but like, we're talking about information, education.
That's so much more powerful.
That's so much more powerful when you have purpose.
Currency is immaculate, bro. That's the amazing currency, is education and helping out.
Yeah, and I think that when I go back to think about education, we have to make sure that we categorize it is really like casual, informal. It's not all institutional knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a trickle down effect of everything. Like, even the conversation that we have, like you say, you've been going to therapy for 14 years, right? Even when you were going back and forth to therapy in those 14 years, it didn't all ring true for you until we started having conversations outside it, because you had to test what you've been taught.
Mm-hmm.
Because a motherfucker can have you on the roof saying anything to you, and then the minute you go outside, everything that person taught you don't fit. Right. So, like, is that person smart, or you not applying the information right? Like, now you got different confusions.
It may not apply to your situation.
It may not apply to your situation
at that time. You know what I mean? It may apply in the future, because you don't have that long sight. You know what I'm saying? That's what I keep saying. People are too much in another world, in another like reality, man. Like, this reality is funny, and then when you realize that time is not infinite, it's only given to you. Like, I can be gone tomorrow, bro. You know what I mean? From it. No one's listen. Taxes you can avoid. Death you can't.
No.
That we're all in the same race to meet the same maker at the end. You know what I mean?
And what's crazy is this right here. Is like, in saying that nobody's exempt from time, we will look at a TV and we'll see somebody performing like Usher. I'm like, man, yo, he's still looking, you know what I'm saying, young. You getting old too. You know what I'm saying? He your age. Like, we don't own time. So, like, when you're down, it pivots directly off you not creating. Like, if you're down, you're not creating nothing.
So I'll tell you this part. You ever heard of the Tyrone Mays experiment?
Can't say no.
So Tyrone Mays experiment was they took a group of rats. They took two.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was called that.
Yeah, the two groups of rats. They put one in a healthy environment. They had enough room. They had enough clean water, enough food. They had enough space to be by themselves and isolate themselves. They really wanted to. That was one control group. Control group A. Control group B was a bunch of rats that they overcrowded, gave them fucked up water, messed up food. And what they did was they let them sit like that for about 3 to 4 months. Then they took these rats out and they put them in a test. And they realized that the rats that were in a good, healthy environment with good water were flying through this test easy. The ones that came from the bad environment couldn't really function. So they said, well, maybe it's the genetics. So they took another group of rats, that same group of rats from B that were crammed, and they gave them the abundant space, the abundant food, the clean water, all that good stuff. And they took those other rats that were in that good environment and put them in the bad environment. And they realized when they ran the test that every time you're in a good environment, no matter how bad that person was before, if you put them in a good environment, they will succeed.
Yeah.
So it's just what Jay-Z said. The reason they call it a project is because it was a project.
It's an experiment.
Exactly.
Like all the words, they don't use these words by accident.
Mm-mm.
and they don't omit words by accident.
And listen, let me tell you something. Remember we were talking about that whole life policy, the infinite banking structure.
Right.
That goes back to language and being educated. We're not educated on the fact of Black's law versus what we're learning now. There's a difference between maritime law versus law of the land. And you have to realize that your mother gave birth, ship's birth. You were nothing but cargo, bro. Like we were nothing but cargo, and the receipt was a social security number.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And a birth certificate to incorporate us. So we have two different identities that a lot of people don't even realize. We have the capital, which is your name, all in capitals. Look at every official government piece of paper.
It's all in capitals.
It's all in capitals. And then look at the mail that you get from somewhere else, some contract, and it's lowercase letters.
Yep.
It's a big difference in those two entities. And a lot of people don't understand that you can separate them. You're actually two different people according to the government.
Yep.
You're a first individual person, and then you are a piece of their corporation. And because you're a piece of their corporation, you have to follow their rules. Like it's crazy. They don't teach you this stuff because the education is horrible. That's why we all have to teach each other these things, man.
That's why at-will contracts are reflective of that same thing, that same behavior.
Did you do you know? You say you're from New York. Do you know anything about the Statue of Liberty and why it's in water?
I don't know.
Oh, you need to do some research on that. Then.
Now you got me moving. Now I'm gonna put that down.
Do some research on that. That goes exactly along those lines of what you just talked about.
Why the Statue
of Liberty? The law of the land, it's law of the water and stuff like that. Like you know, a lot of times these rich people they don't have a house, but they have a yacht, and they live on a yacht, but they don't have to pay taxes on that shit because it's the water, not the land.
And maritime law is different.
We just had a conversation about this too. So like,
we're picking up what we're putting down.
Yeah,
but here's the thing though. We don't. I'm gonna tell you right now where the whole U.S. in this complex is fucked up. They gave us that. They gave us the internet. They let us look at shit and do research and do our own homework and open up our own eyes. And when you realize the shit that's going on, you're like, holy hell. That's why like it confuses me why we have churches in America going to Puerto Rico to help out, but don't really do shit.
Hey, what about this? The same people that never mind, man.
We can do that, bro. Like I love, we can talk that offline, but
don't get me started.
Hey, I'm just around to absorb the information.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you when you realize when a lot of Puerto Ricans, the diaspora, the Puerto Ricans that are actually in the continental 48, right, not on the island, those off the island, they're so ingrained by the old policies, bro. And we're talking like 50, 60 years ago, we couldn't even raise our own flag without being punished. We couldn't speak our native tongue in our island, in our schools, because the Americans thought, they couldn't understand it. So we were plotting against them. So they banned it. I mean, when you have nuclear tests being done on our civilians on the island, it's screwy. Listen, the whole world, I'm going to say that, the whole world owes Puerto Rican women an apology and reparations because the U.S. is the one who used experimental drugs on Puerto Rican women to create the current birth control. Fuck out of here, bro. Can't tell me shit. You're not only poisoning the food and the water, you're poisoning our women. You're poisoning our womb because you think we're aliens, bro. And it's written. I'm not saying anything that's not written that can't be found, bro. There's a book called War Against Puerto Ricans. I suggest everybody read that shit because that's going on currently right now. And like I said, we're a colony. We've been destroyed by not only earthquakes, floods, and tornadoes. We get no help and then told, go take care of it. Here's some tissue. Some tissue. Fuck out of here, bro. And we're supposed to be happy?
No, you got the Trump jump shot.
Bruh,
the Trump shot.
Listen, we could go as far as to say that Puerto Ricans pay twice as much for everything because there's no ship that can dock on the island that doesn't have a U.S. flag. So anything that comes from overseas, which is everything, has to dock in Miami first, get unloaded to a U.S. vessel to then be shipped to Puerto Rico. So they have to pass the island, send it to the mainland, put it on a different boat, charge us more to bring it to our own island. It's the same shit. Why?
Yeah, bro,
because we ain't shit to them. And they're gonna continuously treat us like shit, which is why we got houses with no rules, we got people with no insurance, we got all these Bitcoin billionaires going on, they're trying to save themselves, but they make Puerto Rico a tax haven for themselves because they know they got the money to make it a tax haven. So they're pushing all the Puerto Ricans out, which is why I'm unapologetically Puerto Rican. I'm gonna keep pushing in people's faces. I like getting in people's faces because no one can stop my shine.
Yeah. When you understand something, it just draws a boundary, you know, like that's what education does for real. It separates those that understand, those that apply, those that listen, you know what I'm saying? Like it draws lines.
But the problem is what he was saying before was that people don't understand the difference. Like when I said, you are one person, but you're two different identities to the U.S. government, and most people don't even realize that.
Yeah. They're not going to apply it even if they did.
No, and they're not even going to read some of the things. What they're going to wait for is the podcast to show out.
Yeah.
But still, even then, they probably be on the couch, getting fucking cotton out their damn belly button, listening to some shit and not really doing nothing about it. Man, them brothers real, man.
Yeah,
man, they speaking facts, man. Preach. They ain't doing shit.
Well, let me go back to what you just said though. I don't believe people that think like that care about what's in their belly button.
Yep,
maybe not.
But you got to understand, it's also in the culture in which they live in. So that's that unfortunate situation. Listen, I grew up, bro. There's no way I should have grown past the age of 18. I was making a will at like 16, bro. I lived in New York City. I was the only child raised by a mom who had a habit and a father who wasn't there. The streets raised me, bro. Like I should have been there. I should have been a statistic, and I've beaten every one of them to the point where now it's like, okay, why am I different? And so I look at it, it's like I was in that worst environment, but my mind, the environment of my mind and the creativity that I had inside of me pushed me out of that, bro. It pushed me out of it.
Yep. Look, man, men and creativity are very vital, you know, because in general, creativity is where all of the arts live. You know what I'm saying?
Men are not taught to be creative. Women are. Women are always taught instinctively to be creative, take care of the baby, dress the baby, do that. For men, it's, hey, be tough, fight, you know, defend what's yours. Like that was a shit that they put into us, and it was bad.
It was the Popeye effect. I'm trying to tell you, Popeye. Like you like when you think about Popeye, it was cool. It was celebrated to chase women that wouldn't chase you. You know what I'm saying? In the worst case scenario, would never pursue you.
I gotta put my life on the line.
You gotta put your life on the line for it, mate.
To prove that I'm with you and you don't give a fuck about me.
Do you know how bad that distorts what a man should be doing in the world when he doesn't have men around? Or
I think Will Smith used to watch Popeye.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, Will Smith and Chris Rock. And
don't get me started on that shit with Jada, bro.
I'm telling you, if you look at the Popeye model, it applies to a lot of conflicts.
Will Smith is Popeye. Jada Pinkett is motherfucking Olive Oil, and Bruno's Tupac.
Ooh.
Hey, and then when you get down to it, so like then when you come down to Tupac, right? Who raised him?
A black woman.
Yeah.
Well, the Black Panthers.
The Black Panthers, allegedly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even in his situation, like, you get a movie that models what Tupac would be like if he didn't have no talent. You know what I'm saying? And that's Baby Boy.
If he didn't have no creativity.
Yeah, if he had no creativity, you just Jody.
Yep.
So, like, the difference is crazy, but the outcome is generally the same. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of consumer mindset decisions, which go along with poor economic decisions. Like entrepreneur thinking is about how do I get my money out of this?
It's about being creative.
How do I make this thing that everybody sees as a goal become leverage? It's like turning the things that you do regularly into leverage. If you consume a certain product, how do you make this product part of your portfolio? And that's what like.
But that's what we start that whole thing. Exactly what he had said before. Greg said before, which is like discipline, right? Like you have to discipline yourself to say, okay, I need to invest my time in this and not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not with just physical. It's what you eat. It's what you consume.
Everything you consume.
As you put in
Consumer
your
mindset.
body, you gotta be conscious of what you eat. You gotta be conscious of what you listen to. You gotta be conscious of what you see. You gotta be conscious of everything, man. Who you share your body with, so on and so forth. Who you have a baby with, who you sleep with, who all of that. You gotta be very, very conscious. You gotta hold yourself to another standard, a higher regard. But
We're
a lot
a
of people
consumer
don't have
organism.
no self-love, and it shows.
We're a consumer organism. We consume everything, whether it be wood around us to build things, dirt to do whatever. Like we consume. We're a consuming organism. We will consume things for energy, right? So it is whatever we put in, and like you said, it's whatever we listen to, whatever we allow to penetrate between our ears is what rings the loudest. And so when you're in the streets and you ain't got no money, that's what rings loudest in your head. You got to get that bread. And by any means necessary. And that means being creative on how to get that bread. But they're using that, and that's where the trauma comes in. You get trouble and trauma, and that's where it gets convoluted. That creativity was there, but it was created in a different manner.
It's transmuted differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if this is
like
about
a cancer cell. It just spread and metastasizes and keeps moving.
I'm trying to tell you, bro, like the consumer mindset is the form of like you go from being a child, you have a child's mindset, right? And then the child's mindset is easy to educate into the consumer mindset because it becomes something for something. You don't get anything without putting in any type of work. And then the next level of, maturity becomes going from the consumer mindset to the entrepreneurial mindset, which requires you to separate from people that are like-minded consumers. And that's where you're going to, because at the consumer level, that's where you got a different type of competition. It's usually unhealthy competition. It ain't competition where you're trying to help each other. You know what I'm saying? The entrepreneurial mindset is, I need to help you so you can help me. So I need to give so I can receive.
And I already know how hard it is. And I know what you're going through.
And I know what you're going through. So we can relate because we can
Mm-hmm.
relate. At the entrepreneurial level, you can relate differently. At the consumer level, you relate in a way that's competitive. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to require you to filter through a bunch of different people. This is where like the vetting stuff is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some areas where you got a bunch of smart people, but there's no mesh point for them to work together, because this goes back to this place not having any culture.
Mm-hmm.
It has a bunch of people that know how to do something, but because there's no culture, then there's no structure, there's no organization, there's no communication, there's no education, there's none of that. You know what I'm saying? But you go to a place that already has an established culture, you're going to fall into the food chain where you can afford to fall into the food chain.
Right.
So that's why it's always people moving from all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
But it's sad though, because like even education doesn't necessarily have to be, like you said before, it doesn't necessarily have to be a school or prestigious. Some people don't even move out the town that they were born in.
Man, I've already been preaching that shit.
Man, look,
you gotta get the fuck out.
You making zip code decisions on global economic opinion. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And then people complain on why they not on why, but they complain that they're broke, but they don't do shit to fix why they broke. Like if you can't afford to live somewhere, move. Make it happen and move. Nobody care how it get done. Move into a better situation.
Everything you complain about is because of where you're located.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's the environment in which you're in and causes you to react in a certain way.
Because you don't own the environment. You are part of it. Like, for instance, man, like I'm from Birmingham. So it's people in my timeline that are from Birmingham. I could tell a Birmingham conversation from other conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the Birmingham conversation is that like in this particular instance, there was a woman talking about that there's no good men available to her, and it may be,
It's all her. It's all her.
It's all her.
It's
You
all
know
her.
what I'm saying? If you're telling everybody that there's nothing here, why haven't you moved? Like you know what I'm saying?
Like start doing different.
You got to start doing different shit if you want different outcomes. You can't complain that there's no good men or women as options where you live, verbalizing it, staying there, and then complaining again when you get the same outcome. It's your proximity to where you are, your creativity and your mindset does not fit your environment, or maybe it does. Maybe
I got a friend of mine, 56 years old, right? I can't even believe I have friends that old, but I got a friend of mine, 56 years old, still works for the same company I left, I don't know, probably 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got no prospects in the future as far as like not wanting to drive. I know how many times I don't talk to that cat. But like, bro, you got this, you got that. You can utilize this. I know I can't. I just don't want to. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, I like that voice that you hear, that the depressed voice. It's very sweet and tender. Victimized voice and shit. Yeah, go ahead, bring it out one more time. Let me hear the tone.
They be you get all kind of like, you know what I mean? They be
what that tone sound.
That's how they are though. They can't see themselves, even with the opportunities. They can't see themselves getting out of the situation. You know what I mean? Like
fucking scared. That's why.
Yeah, they're fearful.
Fearful, yeah, very fearful, and that's what's going to kill them.
Consumer mindset, like you, if you're smart enough to work for somebody else to make them successful, then you smart enough to do it for yourself, and all you got to do is adjust your discipline to what you are responsible for.
And if you're a kingpin and you sell a lot of drugs, you're a damn Fortune 500, goddamn.
You really are. Man. You really are.
You just need to find some new dope. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Change that other shit to legalize whatever dope that you think you selling. You already know you're going to jail for that. You go ahead and find something else to be your dope. You'll be successful, goddamn.
Hey, man, you can take them white blocks and what you learn from them white blocks and buy some white blocks.
Yeah,
you know it. That's exactly the key.
Yeah. So like, it's all about how do you package it. It's all about how do you market it, how you communicate it, how you educate people on it, and what type of support system you got around, because it can't all just come from you. Like everything that I'm saying, like if all of us have the same conversation with ourselves in a roundabout dialect way, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like you have it by yourself, it sounds like you could drive yourself insane. Mm-hmm. The average person could if they didn't connect with other people that reflected their mindset, you know. But until you open your mouth to have a conversation with somebody else, you don't know who else out there that reflects.
Yeah, and you feel all alone, and it's this big old world that, man, shut your ass up.
Yeah,
man.
You ain't doing
other
nothing.
People got the same fucking problems you got
everywhere,
bro. And somebody turned that fucking negative to a positive. So I don't want to hear that victim shit.
No, like you are trying a Maybach or a Corolla. You don't have the same problem.
Yeah.
It don't matter what kind of car you're in, but it depends on your environment. Like I knew nothing of Georgia until I moved here from New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, I wasn't in New York City. I went from New York City to Tucson, Arizona. So I was 30 miles from the border, bro. Like that was a culture shock. And then I moved back to NY, moved back to AZ, and then decided, you know what, that wasn't the move for me. I joined the service, and I wound up in Georgia, in the middle of the damn woods.
What the hell's in Arizona? I was thinking about going to Arizona, but I passed through there going to Vegas. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, I was
this before the military, I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't stationed there.
Oh,
I was just living there.
So what's in Arizona?
I don't know.
Well,
Fort Huachuca's the army post there.
The army post. Then Tucson is a college town because
So he's saying he was going back and forth before the military.
Yeah.
I was
so
going.
Like, what the hell's in Arizona?
Yeah,
what made you go to Arizona from New York?
So, okay, some things we get forced upon. I was just being a badass. Like I told you, I had made a will early in life, and when I got caught on school grounds with a pit bull and some dope, you know what I'm saying? My mom was like,
"You had to like DMX. You had thought you a rough rider."
My mom literally went. I never forget it. My mom went to the police department and scooped me up and told the precinct sergeant, and this is I'm talking about, this is like early 90s. Hey, listen, I don't need him to get a felony. He's my only child. I'm in rehab. I will give him a one-way ticket across the country, and you'll never see this man again. Just please let my son out. And to the credit of the police department there, they said, come bring us a ticket before COB, before 5 o'clock, and we put his ass on the bus. If you bring us a ticket, we'll let him go. And it has to be for today. So my mom at the time had to go drive to the airport, buy the fucking ticket, drive all the way back to where we lived, to the precinct, hand him the ticket that I was leaving that night. And I wound up going with a family member that I rarely ever saw, a cousin and some family members. I wound up spending like a year out there to straighten my ass out. So,
did it straighten you out?
I want to say it opened my eyes to being straightened out, right? Because I didn't know of a life outside of New York. I mean, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I went to Florida every so often as a kid, but nothing to really make a difference. I went to Puerto Rico again as a kid, nothing to make a difference. But when I got forced to go to AZ and see a different part of the world and how some of these people were living in dust bowls, bro, like people living in Adobe brick houses, no AC, you know what I'm saying? Like real outhouse shit type shit.
Outside.
Yeah, outside type shit. I was like, yo, there's no big buildings here, bro. Where the rats? You know what I'm saying? Like where the bums at? Like everything's a driving distance. You know what I'm saying? So there was no public transportation. So it kind of opened my eyes. And then when I went back to New York after getting my eyes open, that's when you realize, oh shit, I put myself back in the same shit because I had it really nice out in the middle of nowhere in the fucking desert. So guess what? Moved my ass back to fucking Tucson again and went right back. Did that for like 4 years. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that with myself, right? I got to be creative. I'm not doing anything. I've got a full-time job selling cars. I can't see myself doing that for a living. I was hustling rocks. I can't hustle these Dodges. They're not the same. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I need an adventure. And I joined the service with what at the time was my wife. We joined a buddy program. And this is the shit, leverage, right? You got to be creative. I took the ASVAB and I scored a 92. My wife at the time that I was married to, she scored a 78. They gave her the best fucking options, linguist. They gave her translator of some sort. They gave her like satellite. They gave me the big 8, bro. Cook, mechanic, and police. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they gave me. So I leveraged her. I said, listen, I ain't signed. She's not signing and going in if I don't get a job that's good for me. And so that's how I got into communications. I leveraged her to get into comm. And so she went into comm, I went into comm. And then during basic, and actually the last week of basic, we got a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is.
Hey, look, that's how far y'all was supposed to go.
Basically. Yeah, and then me and you met up in AIT and basic, you know what I'm saying? So like, look at that. Our relationship lasted longer than my wife's my first wife's relationship.
Y'all wasn't supposed to be married.
No.
Right. Yeah, y'all wasn't supposed to be
Listen, you know you ain't supposed to be. I'm like a king of impulsive shit. I woke up one day next to this woman. Mind you, I did at the time love her. I woke up next to this woman one day and I said, hey, let's go on a trip. Come on. She's like, where you going? I said, just pack it back. We're going to Vegas. We went straight to Vegas, got married at the Little Whitechapel of Love, spent that weekend there at the Super 8, drove right the fuck back. You see what I'm saying? Like, I do impulsive shit like that, where I wind up getting a divorce a year later. I go through AIT, go through basic, go through AIT, get to my first duty station, meet my current wife that I've been with for 20 years. I just woke up one day and said, hey, let's go get married. Went to the courthouse, got married on lunch break. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like,
and that's why, like, you was in therapy for 14 years. Because like when you realize how impulsive you are, because it all comes back to whatever you decided. But it's so many people.
Your life is your choice.
It's listen to what I'm telling you though. From when we had the discussion, it's about the environment that you're in.
It's the environment.
When you're not loved in the environment that you're in, you seek the love.
Yes,
trying to validate yourself in, and not realize that you're trying to validate yourself
in the wrong places.
Love in outside sources.
Yeah. Hey, when they say looking for love in all the wrong places,
that's looking for love.
That's why you end up in olive oil situation.
Yes, so now you got a better love. You got more love for yourself now, though,
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm learning how to grow in love with myself. Right?
Yeah.
Like we're all our hardest critics, and I'm the worst at mine. You know what I mean? Like as successful as I am, I still think I could be more successful. As good as a parent I am, I still think I could be a better parent, and I still push the wrong way sometimes. Like I got one of my children not even talking to me right now, and I'm cool with that. They're adults. I'm adult. You'll figure it out eventually. I already figured it out. So again, it's the environment that you're in that produces what you're going to become at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything reflects the way you're treated underneath your roof or whatever, however you treat it. You know,
Yeah.
like what's crazy to me is that as humans we can be so arrogant. It's like we can look at a pet, know that the pet needs to be trained, know that the pet reflects the environment in which it's raised, and then we'd be completely shocked when children go out here and behave in ways that you don't like, but you know where it came from. Did nobody else teach that? Like now I get it. You set a foundation so they can evaluate good and bad choices. You just teach them right from wrong.
Yeah, a parent is more like an advisor and a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was you, I would advise you to do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna coach you on doing this. Listen, just because I don't have any kids, however, I've raised a lot of kids. But at the end of the day, it's more so you can't be so wrapped up and so hard on yourself trying to be a better parent and what did I do wrong. You did what you thought was right at the time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Give yourself some grace. Love yourself enough to understand that we are perfectly imperfect, and let them motherfuckers do whatever they're gonna do because
that's what I'm learning.
That's what they're gonna do. It's their life. It's not yours.
Right.
You had them, but it's their life.
Right.
If you give them, you tell them the right and wrong, and they want to do wrong, it's their choice.
Well, let's preface this.
Yeah,
they're mine by mindset. They're not mine biologically.
Right.
But by mindset, because I've been there the whole time. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not saying here proclaiming like I'm the greatest dad. I've had my problems, bro. When your family comes up to you like mine has and said, bro, you need therapy. Like straight up. They sat me down like, yeah, there's these issues that are going to be non-starters for us if you don't seek no therapy. And so that's when you have to be creative and say, okay, do I really need it? Or because remember, I have to think of myself in the environment that I was raised in, bro. I was raised in the streets. I was raised kill, be killed, bro, in one of the meanest cities in the world, bro, in New York City. There were not times I didn't fear for my life just going home from school. There weren't times I didn't fear for my life going to school. Like I was always fearful because I always had to be on edge. I had no one to have my back. I didn't have no older brothers to call. I was the only child, bro. I had to make it do. And at 5'6",
that matters.
At 5'6", people look at you and go, "Oh, you're an easy target." All right, cool. Come try the honey badger if you want, motherfucker. I'll show you what it's about. You know what I'm saying? You got to grow up to be tough. And so you grow up with that mindset for so fucking long, and you grind and grind and grind that when you have your family, and my family is nowhere even close to the environment that I was raised in, but it still feels like that to me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm constantly protective. I'm constantly checking my windows. I'm constantly making sure my shit's, got one in the chamber before I go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I make sure of my shit. I'm always got my back turned, always got looking around. That's just because I'm always aware of my situation and where I live. I have to be now.
But what if I would have said that? You know what? You probably don't need therapy. What if you just people got to understand like you said, the conditions of your lifestyle and how you used to live made you who you are today.
Right.
Now you say you're successful and you're not a statistic. Mm-hmm. That's a win is a win. You feel me? No, real talk. Check this out now. Now, do you think your kids they're going down the same path you're going, or they going first 48 route? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're trying to tell them what's going on, but they think that they know more than what the fuck you know. Your experience is the one that taught you this, and it's called life. Life is not a beautiful thing; it's a beautiful disaster. Yeah. But it's really what you make it. So I would say therapy is cool if you can understand. Okay, I got some shortcomings. I know how to goddamn. I know where this shit stemmed from. I'm gonna work on that.
You gotta be willing to improve when you
but the therapy or the therapist is not gonna fucking make the changes.
No way.
You gotta make the change.
You gotta,
but you gotta understand certain things you might not have to change. What if that's okay?
No, I totally agree with you. And there's certain things I will not change. And you know, and that's just the way I am. You could tell me and advise me of anything, but it's up to me to soak that in, right? And so when I go to therapy, it's more about myself. I don't worry about what the therapist got to say in that fucking opinion. Fuck that. I'm paying you to help me understand me a little bit because you have these tools to help me analyze myself that I don't have. This is all therapy is to me. When I go to therapy, before I even need to think that I got to go to therapy, I got to see that maybe I have to sit in that person or that person's shoes. If I love them enough, like my wife, my children, if I love them enough, let me sit and let me stand in their shoes for just a hot second and see if I can switch this around by going to therapy, by doing, or for instance, I'm gonna tell you something that I learned about 2-3 months ago, which is great. The touch, we call it the touch. Before you have an argument with somebody, or I have this thing where my wife is a very she shies away from any kind of problems, right? So she's real defensive in the sense of like she's skittish. So when I used to be like, hey, let me ask you a question, she used to throw her defenses up and be all upset and be like, like, what is it now? What did I do wrong? Blah, 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 blah. But I learned instead of asking, hey, can I ask you a question? I'll just come up to her, I'll grab her by the arm and I say, hey, baby, let me ponder this with you really quick. Changes the whole situation. She opens up, she says, oh, this is what I thought you meant, or this is what I see. And it straightens things out because I grabbed her and taught her in a certain way. So that's what therapy helps me do. It doesn't change who the fuck I am. I'm still going to be unapologetically Puerto Rican, and you're going to get it from me which way you're going to get it, how I want to give it to you. But I understand that I could approach it in a different manner now because everybody's a little bit different. I can talk to Vic one way, I can talk to you another way, and I can talk to my kids a different way. So I have to know the audience that I'm talking to. And that therapy helps me adjust how to speak to certain people in my audience.
Because man, look, in my experience in the military, especially in intel, and at some point you become an instructor because it's like the natural, path. Mm-hmm. Like the number one thing they teach you is that you need to know your audience, because like you can be insulting your audience with information. You can be insulting them intellectually. You know what I'm saying? Like with information that they already know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can't.
But we talking about just training because because for instance, even this podcast might be the first time somebody's ever heard me or Adam or Brad have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know what it's about. So we have to be thorough in what we explain, and the things that aren't meant for everybody to explain, that's already understood. So we don't have to go any further than that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And the thing is that if you want to have more access to that understanding, that so you could tell when people understand stuff that you don't understand. Mm-hmm. Like when you go to places where everybody speaks a different language, you may not be able to speak the language, but like if you understand some of the words, you could tell if you
pick up the clues. It's like a blues clue, bro. You got to pick up. What's the vibe?
Yeah, what's the vibe?
Are they speaking really loud? Is shit about to pop off?
What's the inflection? You see?
Yeah, the inflection, right? Are they being real like somber?
Hey, but you from New York, so everything might be loud and it might just seem normal.
Bro, I'm Puerto Rican. Everything's loud and normal for me.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
that's why my name is so damn loud. Like I was told, they was like, "Yo, why you pick unapologetically Puerto Rican?" Most people can't even spell unapologetically. That's the reason. Yeah. That's the reason. Yeah. If you can't spell it,
I do understand it
too. But I know what it is, and you're gonna know what the fuck it means. And so, like, you have to know who you're talking to your audience. And now, let me preface speaking to your audience. When I say speak to my audience, right, I'm talking about my family, right? Yeah. Like not just my people and my podcast or whatnot, but I'm talking about the people that I really love and truly care about is my family. But when you have people in your family who are intellectually challenged, bro, that you have to step your game up. Oh. You got to step your game all the way the fuck up.
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got 2 kids that are autistic that don't understand things the way a normal person would, or the way a person who grew up in the hood would, or a person who went to Georgia Middle School College. Like I got these cats in my family that I got to speak to in a certain way for them to get their brain right. And so that's why for me, therapy worked. And again, I was doing shit. Look, I was suffering from PTSD and not even realizing it and pushing it on my family, bro. Like, and I mean like physically pushing it on my family, where I was making these motherfuckers do cherry pickers for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine as a kid doing cherry pickers, bro? Because you didn't want to clean up your toys? I had them doing the invisible chair, bro. Like, my kids have the greatest calves and the greatest arms ever. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's trauma. That's a painful experience for a young child to go through, when it's painful for us as adults to go through in basic, and not correlating that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop that kind of teaching because I had nobody to teach me how to.
Because that was the first type of discipline that you was able to comprehend.
Yes, because I had nobody to teach me.
You had nobody else to teach.
Yeah, it's all beneficial because even the roads can grow through the damn concrete.
Right.
Hey, you know what? They got some strong forearms. And you
did nothing but help them out.
Hey,
man.
but yeah, this why, and this
they
like we were saying,
fit.
you can't take that on. You can't be hard on yourself. Like,
I'm not hard on myself, but I do understand that when there was a point where I was physically being abusive, then that's different, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, when I was physically being abusive, and not in the sense of doing charity, like normal dads would hit you in the back of the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I was hitting them in the back of the head. I was pushing their head in the wall, or I was just like getting down, push-ups. You know, like, I don't want to say I was hurting them purposely, but I just didn't know better.
You just didn't know better.
Yeah. And so I needed the therapy to help me be like, oh, okay. Maybe I need to think about it from their situation, because they're thinking of it because they're autistic. So their whole mind is shifted.
Yeah.
Bro, like I posted something one day about parents not correcting their behavior before they correct their kids' behavior.
Yep.
And that is an example of that, because like you want better discipline out of your child, but you got to be disciplined too.
Yeah,
you can't be telling. Yeah, exactly. And like, if you like, when you see obese parents and then you see obese children, you can't say that the children got to get in shape while the parent is to get to stay obese. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That does not make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always talk about, like, in the military, leading by example, right? Mm-hmm. None of that stuff changes, because that's how your kids learn from you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We've had this conversation extensively, but it's not enough to just lead by example. You have to teach by example too. And teaching by example, all of these words that we're using encompass discipline. It encompasses, like, well, what's your discipline? Mm-hmm. How do you protect access to what you are? How do you protect your creative access? Like, if you believe that you're really good at this particular sport or activity, then you are going to be disciplined enough to protect your access to it. Meaning, like, if you're a kid, the lesson is, like, if you want to play video games, then, you know what I'm saying, you got to do your homework. Yeah. You got to
clean your room. You got to do
trash
around the house.
Yeah.
Take the trash
you don't
out.
want to do none of these stuff.
You got to wash my car.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whatever fulfill your obligations so you can maintain access to the thing that you care about.
So we're talking about, like, being in a specific environment, right? So, like, I think about my children. I think about my eldest 3 children didn't really have me around because I was deployed, because I was out being a contractor, right? So some of the stuff, what they say, the good juju that rubs off on your kids from you that they learn from, well, I'm not there to expose them to that, right? So they go off and do these all kind of tangent shit. I get back, and my youngest gets to get the full impact of me being in his life the whole time, because I don't deploy nowhere. And so you can see that my youngest has the same mindset as I do, where he already has a vending machine. He's already hustling. He already knows that he doesn't want to go to school and be somebody else's cog in their machine. He wants to be the machine creator. So, like, it's a big difference when you spend time with your children and when you can rub off, you know what I'm saying? Like, what your children can off osmosis get off of you from being around you so much. Whereas my other kids didn't get that because I wasn't around. You see what I'm saying? So I'm traveling this. I'm fighting PTSD. I'm fighting the disability with my kids. I'm fighting my availability of being there with them. And so all that takes its toll. And, you know, I'm not blaming myself, because I had to do what I had to do, because my family came first. I went overseas to support my family, and my kids.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody had to benefit from the sacrifice.
Right. And so I let them benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have it all.
But then when they blame you when you don't know them.
Hey,
So it's like, duh, like how the fuck?
Hey, what you want me to do? You act
can't
like
have
I
it
was
both
in
ways.
jail. You act like I just left. You act like it's something totally different. It's not that.
I
had
partying.
to work to provide for you, so
Right.
you could go to school, to a nice school, so you could have these nice, this nice house, these nice clothes.
They don't. But let me explain something. A lot of these kids now, especially mine, I'm a lot of kids. My kids live in the suburbs of Georgia. They live comfortably, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, always have electricity, always have water, always got food, right? Like that shit that I never had.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
The basic essentials, like you've
So
been
just
broke
for
all your
them-
life.
Yeah.
So for them, this is their ghetto because they're like, but this is the norm. So I see these people with $1 million, $2 million mansions. I see the Kardashians with like these Maseratis. No. It's like, oh, that's the life I want to live. I wanted to live this life I'm in right now. I wanted to live in the suburbs and have a house and not have to worry about water being shut off. You know what I'm saying? Like, not worry about how being locked out on.
I feel like we skipped a whole bunch of steps. Like all of us are like, and when I say skip, I don't mean that like we did it in a negative way. We just got here a lot faster than what we thought. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're a homeowner. You know what I'm saying? You've been a homeowner for how long?
18 years.
So like I've been a property owner for quite some time too. Maybe not as long as you have been, but I've been a property owner, did business and everything else around it. Brett, he's been a property owner. He ain't even 40.
About 12, 13
for about 12, 13 years. So like you see what I'm saying? Like, like think about the age of your kids, right? Mm-hmm. And the age they like at the age of when you own property, how far they are away from that.
Yeah, I got mine when I was 25.
Yeah, he owned the property when he was 25. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my first, my first investment property when I was 29, 30. You know what I'm saying?
My mom is 65 and has never owned a property. But let that sink in. You had your first at 25. My mom is 65.
But look. My year is 84. Her year is something different. So her birthday and her environment was way different around that time. She just now like understanding like the way of the new world because her shit is
relative to the environment.
Yeah, like payphone, taxi cabs, cocaine and shit like that. That's all of that back then. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you're handed down poverty is a generational curse.
Yes, sir.
Like we got a bunch of generational curses. It's not just one thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the mindset that's associated with poverty is the main generational curse. Mm-hmm. Because like once you get in there, then you got different behaviors that are associated with whatever your curse is. You know what I'm saying? Like some people curse is the things that goes along with poverty is teen pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? And teen pregnancy, they just leave it at that, like undisciplined teens. But no, you had undisciplined parents.
Right.
Yeah.
That model, that behavior that made teen pregnancy
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this is acceptable. It's okay to have a baby when you fucking 13, 14.
Two-parent households don't produce teen pregnancies at the same volume as single-parent households.
Yep.
Then they have then guess what? I'm gonna have a show to promote this behavior.
Yep.
And then now other motherfuckers gonna be coming in doing the same shit, falling in line behind it.
Which is why here I go back to informal education, right? All of the things that were used to that we say glorify in the past or miseducate, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's a form, and now it's a social experiment for us to learn from. You know what I'm saying? Because like now you go back and watch this stuff and you can see the behavior of each individual and how they landed where they are. Yep. Like I was watching this Trap Queens thing that's on BET. It's about the female drug dealers and kingpins that nobody talked about. Every one of them got the same circumstance. There's no father in the house. They was one of multiple siblings living in the projects. She had to get her money up. So she started prostitution, stripping, and everything else that goes along with living off the land as a woman in an environment, you know what I'm saying, in low income. Poverty. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And guess what happens? Everything changes when they have a baby at 16, 14, 13. And they're only mimicking the behavior from the environment in which they were raised. And it's the same cycle. Well, all of these people that are part of this cycle, both the men and the women, guess what? They are raised the same way. They're only attracted to each other. And then there's a whole demographic of people that's doing it in a way that's a lot healthier, right. Well intended rather, and they have different outcomes.
Yeah, how many fucking parents plan they parenthood? Like they ain't
even the married parents don't plan the kids that they have. Right. They just say, hey, you know what, we married, so if we have some kids, cool. I got your back and you got mine.
It's acceptable. That's all. It's acceptable. It's acceptable that if we have kids, that's part of the. That's part of the whole.
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're on track. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
We're on track. We got the right parameters.
For who?
Yeah, but
they can't pay their cell phone bill. It's cricket. They can't afford gas, but they got that. It's a kid, so we got to do it. It's on the timeline.
Yep, it's inside the timeline. It's all within the spectrum of being responsible for the things that you create. Mm-hmm. Even the people that you create.
And why don't when you have a baby shower, all those people that's at the baby shower be at your hospital when you give them birth or helping you out throughout the damn time? Because it's supposed to take a village to raise a kid, but you really on your own.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, bro. We so individualized now that the word village is a buzzword.
Yeah.
Like I believe that I'm not saying villages don't exist. I'm just saying it's a buzzword. Because people like pageantry. It looks like what you want, like baby showers, gender reveals, all this celebratory stuff is bullshit, pageantry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
All the social studies that have been conducted in all the universities have one thing in common, and that is it applies to marketing. You have been marketed your whole damn life, bro.
You've had your life marketed to you.
You had exactly. It was marketed, right? Like, be all you can be. Join the army. Like you're marketed. That's what got me. I was like, nigga, I ain't.
They sent everybody to college.
Shit. I gotta be what I can be. Let me join the military, bro, because I got nobody out here helping me. So let me go do this,
bro. In the 90s, they told us be all you can be.
Be all you can be.
And then they said go to college. Now you got the GI Bill. Now you go to college, and now you just get your associates. Oh, associates ain't good enough. You got to go get your bachelor's. Mm-hmm. Now everybody got an associates. Everybody got a bachelor's. Now the job market gets diluted because all of y'all got the same thing. So like,
now you got to get your master's.
You
now you got to be a doctor by the time you're 16 years old. You got to be a doctor.
And then meanwhile, go rack up anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000 in student loan debt.
But that's the school system. That's the trap.
And then there's no jobs that reflect the education we got.
Listen. Let me tell you something. When I told people I was going to be a photographer, they were like, "Oh, that's good. Like, I guess you know." And so I went to art school. And when you go to art school, you get told the harsh reality: you guys are paying $40,000 to $50,000 for this education, and if you're lucky, you'll be one of the very few who make a few million. If you're, not so lucky, you'll be working at, what's that place called? Glamour Shots. You'll be working in the malls and the Sears. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about what you make of it. And when I told my professor what I was doing and how I got my position, I was a federal position that there's only 3 in the state, and I was one of them. And that, obviously is a great marketing position for me, but I nailed it. My teacher was like, yo, if you don't want that job, I'll take it. My professor was like, yo, if you don't want it, I'll take it. And she was the professor at the school, and she was getting paid, which, by the way, the school now closed down. So now my degree ain't worth a damn, I guess, but my knowledge is everything. So I'm not worried about the piece of paper that it's written on. I'm worried about what's in my mindset and how I can make it move forward. Like now, podcast, you know what I'm saying? It's what you use of it. It's got to be creative, right?
Man, look,
again.
Check this, right? What if the money that we spent in getting formal education, like now that we know these things, now it's like, I don't want to do anything. I'll go pay somebody that knows the thing that I need to know because I have working knowledge of how it should look. So I can at least ask some questions that expedite my outcome. And
the Henry Ford method?
Yeah, man, look, come on.
That's it.
The Socratic method, you know what I'm saying, asking questions and to gain the understanding. But bro, like there's different ways to repurpose the information that you've been privy to, the information that you've been listening to. You know what I'm saying?
Too many people make it a habit to think that they need a receipt in a sense of some kind of formal educational diploma. You see what I'm saying? Like, I remember when ITT was around. That's another school that went fucking bankrupt.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know how University of Phoenix ain't bankrupt yet, but yo, do your thing, bro. Like, I ain't mad at you.
The investors that want to hide their money,
yeah,
once they decide they're gonna pull out, they're like, hey, everything folds, because none of these places, especially institutions, are not ran by one person's head. They're ran by multiple people that sit down at a table to talk the way that we talking,
right?
To decide, you know what I'm saying, what they're going to decide. Most decisions are made on golf courses and tennis courts.
Most financial decisions.
Most financial because I'm a fancy restaurants.
Yeah, that's true. Strip clubs sometimes.
Yeah, and
depends on what type of environment you in.
and not on banker's hours.
Right, never on banker's hours.
Yeah, in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah,
that's like I tell people sometimes you got to take those shades off and look at what is gonna prosper in the end. Like I'm a big proponent of putting my money where my mouth is. I've invested thousands of dollars in legalized marijuana stocks.
Yeah,
because I know that when that joint pops, when we finally get the legislation, which I'm talking about, changing the class from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3, and then that legislation is going to, get passed down. They got the SAFE Act for the bankers to get that money. Once all that puts into place and it's falling into place, all those stocks that are $2-3 right now are going to jump $400 or $500, and then you're gonna say, "Damn, I missed that boom." So I'm looking at I missed the Microsoft boom growing up. I missed the Amazon boom growing up.
The Bitcoin.
I missed one. I missed that damn red box with Netflix.
Bruh.
Dang,
Netflix,
that's the one I wanted to catch.
Everybody's stomach bubble when you say Netflix.
Fucking blockbuster,
but man, like
shit,
like it's so many things that we just missed that we said. I remember when Bitcoin was $8.
Right.
But shit, that Bitcoin is still fairly new. It's still.
And what I mean is though,
I know it's up there.
Yeah, like you can't even offset it. You see what I'm saying? Because like you remember when it was $8, and I saw it when it hit 60 bands, and I'm like,
dang,
fuck.
That's all you can say. Damn.
There's people who've thrown away hard drives with millions of Bitcoin. There are people going into dumps right now looking for hard drives to see if they have any remnants of Bitcoin on them, because you get one, maybe two. That's 60 stacks.
Yeah. Man, look.
Two is 32,000 a piece. This two is like what, 64,000?
I'm still banking on trying to win this lotto. I just need to hit this.
I can't do it.
Look, it's out there. It's real. Look, even though I know it's a fucking scam, but this dude just collected 100,000 every year. He just got the I think he won like $2 billion or some shit, so he get 100,000 every year. Yeah. So because he deferred the payments, because if you get the lump sum, the taxes and shit like that, they gonna cut that shit damn.
But someone ran the numbers on that. They ran the numbers and it came out that if you took the lump sum, you actually wind up winning. Because if he took the lump sum and invested it now, he would have more at the end of 20 years versus if he just took the 20-year payments and only getting paid 100,000 or 100 million a year.
It just depends on how you want to spend that cash.
It depends on his investment.
Yeah, because you can.
It depends on your environment and how well you're trained in that environment.
Because man, like if you give any one of us
100,000 a year, Vic, on top of what you already make, I'm investing that $100,000. I'm gonna make some money now.
It's gone.
No matter if I get the lump sum or the 100,000, I'm making some money.
I reduce my expenses.
I got my first bonus from the military. My first bonus from the military was when I exited the military. Okay, when they kept me longer than my contract. Yeah. I got a little bonus at the end. It was like $14,000, $15,000.
You had to manipulate. You had to get it on the back end.
Bro, I blew that shit faster than anybody else. That shit was gone within the weekend, bro. That shit was gone. Hey, I got 4 kids. That shit was gone by the weekend.
Bro, it's easy.
Or decisions.
10 to 15 bands. Like,
but listen, that same 15 bands that I went through ain't shit. Give me a G now and watch me flip it. That's exactly. Man, I bought the house. When I bought Vic, I told you the story. When I bought the house, I spent $1,000 in earnest money to start the whole process. I walked out with a $3,900 check. So when I bought the house, they paid me to buy the house, and then I stuffed somebody in it to pay me. It's a matter of mindset. I was not in that environment to understand. I didn't have the education. I didn't have the connections. Now, much different.
Yeah.
This is like where I feel like at this stage in my life, based on what I know, you know how like that old phrase says, like, man, if I knew then what I know now, I feel like I'm right there. Like I feel like I'm young enough and I know enough, and I am patient enough to wait things out, act strategically, and
you have the discipline,
and I have the discipline
and accountability.
Look, and because of that, I have one less problem every day, and that's the goal: to have one less problem every day.
And mind you, when you're a business owner, those problems come. Them L's, how many, bro? Them L's come by the avalanche full.
Don't nobody talk about the L's.
But you gotta hold on. But you gotta hold on to that win, though.
Hey, you need 2 L's if you want to spell million.
You can't spell billion or million without 2 L's, baby.
I take them 2 L's and put them together and make a W out the
you gotta figure. Hey, that's why you gotta be creative.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? You make it millionaire. I'm just taking them to put it together.
Yeah,
I'm making it look like a win.
Speaking of creativity, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all my merch, man. Like, y'all see what I'm wearing? Well,
yes, sir.
Here where you can go get it at. You know what I'm saying? The link is in the chat. Check the caption. I'm gonna drop it again just so you see. You know what I'm saying? You see the sweats. It's getting it's the time of year for it now. You know what I'm saying? So like, check out the merch. It's in the caption, and you know what I'm saying. Get your sweats today, man. There's some other stuff that's on the site that you check out, and then also
get your damn your merch, man.
Man, get the merch.
Grab it, man.
Like
you spending $200-300 for the Nike Tech. Go ahead and get the motherfucking double V.
Here's what kills me. You spend $200-300 on Nike Tech and you ain't getting shit for it.
Nothing.
Whereas if you spend the money with Vic, you getting something from it. You're gonna create your creativity is gonna bubble over, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then this is what manifestation looks like. It goes from a conversation to, you know what I'm saying, attire.
You wind up wearing your passion, bro.
Hey, you wear your pet. A lot of people can't put their name on them, man. And that's the thing. Like, I want to live a life where I can put my name on me, and what people can expect from me is, you know, added value everywhere I go. So
yeah.
So and speaking of added value everywhere you go,
you gotta add the value.
Man, look, you gotta be of service.
Over.
Oh, where you want me to go? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a new one right there.
This is the new one right here. Hang on a second. We got my man. You know what I'm saying? Out doing
with some ice water and some.
Start motor DMT loud. I'm a real life string roll, handgun lights. I'm a legit Glock told. Make $1 million every time I turn crossover. On the West Coast, shoot country nigga crossover. I ain't talking hoops, but I make nigga crossover. I'm on drug ring. I feel like Ocho. Lit with the conversation split like a flamethrower. Which car you want? Girl, the wagon on the Range Rover. 5 different checks. I want to count equal 120. Side be cool, cause I give her a hush money. Bitch scream the whole city like hush puppy. OC currency, nigga got Dutch money. 12 hit the spot, but the laptop been gone. I could pull a whole meal from it cause it's 5 strong. I just sold 300 bags and they take long. Glock 27, nigga whole face gone. I just put the bins up, then I brought the truck out. 3-day water fast cause I gotta cleanse out. Heard a nigga snitching on me, so I gotta clean house. Plugs know I'm moving real fast, so they reaching out. Highway too hot, I'ma take the city route. I just wanna fuck.
Talk to us about what's going on here. I don't want to have no music infractions on the.
Yeah, man. I just I mean, like I said, I'll be feeding the homeless, and I first want to, you know, you got to walk, you got to crawl, walk, run, fly. So right now, just doing what I got to do, what we supposed to be doing anyway, just taking care of one another. And I mean, eventually I want to get them off the street, get them into some housing. But right now I can just at least provide some water and some food.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I like that idea.
Look, man, that's like,
it's too many people that just you know, I mean, they show you that they got some fucking money. I don't want to see no fucking big mansion and they got people out here living on the street. I even told myself, like, I got to change my ways. I got to do better. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a mansion, but that mansion, you can't take that shit with you when you die. Or if you're on your deathbed, you got stage 4 cancer, that big ass mansion ain't gonna do shit for you. Nope. So I'm just trying to get into heaven, G. So I just do God's work because that's what I feel like God placed on my heart. I ain't trying to do this shit for no accolades and nothing like that.
Right.
So I'm just leaving legacy. I don't have no kids, so well, I mean, when I'm gone or whatever, I ain't forgotten my work speak for itself.
Facts. Yeah, we all got to leave an impression, bro. I'm the same way. You know, I'm thankful that you're out there doing that for your community. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to do what I can for mine out here. Out here you try to give. Every place is the same, but in Atlanta it's a little bit strange. You come out here to try to help out, bro. You get robbed in the mist.
Hey, no, you know what? I wanna debunk that statement.
Atlanta's a great city. Don't get me wrong. Atlanta's
no.
a great city.
I just want to say this. I went downtown and I fed the homeless. And yeah, you could get robbed, but it's all about the energy that you possess.
They'll see it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going out there with no fucking diamond chain on and all this shit. I'm out there. I don't have no money in my pocket, bro. And if you want the shoes off my feet, you can have them. You can have the shirt off my fucking back, bro. Like, I
appreciate it. Got my logo.
I'm never gonna be robbed. I'm not saying I'm the toughest, but the energy I put out is love and peace. Like, I want that back in return.
You ain't going out there.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Listen.
Right.
Did you eat today? Hey, what do you want to eat? Matter of fact, I don't even care what you want to eat. This is what I got to offer. So if you want some food, this is what we're going to eat today. You feel me?
I do the same thing. When I worked at the VA hospital, there were plenty of times where these veterans would come in, and they got benefits, but they would come in. They ain't looking right. You know what I mean? And I understand because I know what it's like to have those mental health issues. You know what I mean? And not be in that right place. And it's funny because, like, Vic, when you came through, I had hair, right? Like I had like a little bit of hair. That's when I'm in my sad place. Like when I don't cut my hair, I'm having one of my depressed moments. But I realize that the visuals, right, and other people, and I see it, I'll be like, yo, I got your meal. Don't sweat that. You know what I mean? Like unexpectedly, I'm just blessing people, and I don't expect nothing back. I don't want nothing. If you want to give me a thank you, bet. But otherwise than that, I'm walking away. I'm paying and walking away. I ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm always there to help out my veterans. I'm always there to give them free game, free information, and I'm not going to walk you through it, but I am going to guide you and let you move. You know
you're going to empower them. And
yeah.
That's what it's about. Man, gentlemen, it's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
like it go by quick. Hey, man. Hey, Adam, I'm very appreciative and grateful that you know what I'm saying, decided to
not as much as me
today, man.
Not as much as me as you keep continuing. Like I can't stress that enough, Vic. You are meant to change people's lives, bro. Like straight up, you changed mine. So I know for a fact, like I'm speaking facts. Yeah, you need more blessings, bro. We got to keep throwing you roses, you know what I mean? And continue doing what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you for helping me out.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Hey, y'all trying to make me get mushy up here.
Hey, man.
No, man, I appreciate it though, man, because like I think everybody deserves their roses if they planted the seeds. And one of the things that is a challenge for me is accepting.
But why do you think it's so hard?
Because I think we spend so much time like being hard on ourselves until you reach a spot in life where you could take credit for your own resiliency without it being seen as being arrogant, without it being seen as being, being self-righteous. And then when you're around people that do service for other people, you accept that differently.
Mm-hmm. And definitely.
It hit different when it comes from people that you know.
But remember, you said the audience. Your audience
but the audience
you're talking about right now is all love here.
Yeah, it's all love here.
So it's okay to shed a tear and shit
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to be in competition.
It ain't no competition.
It ain't none of no jealousy, none of that. So yeah, just what Adam said, bro.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the fucking back, man.
It ain't no awards for this. You know what I'm saying? This, hey man, you gotta live it and you gotta be good to other people as you go. Because if you're not of service to other people,
what the hell are you living for?
Then what you doing, man?
Facts.
Like what you doing? And on that note, to the audience, hey man, we appreciate you joining us for Coffee and Blunts here on Code Talk, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.